What's up everyone? You guys have been bugging me about this for the last year, so let's celebrate my 1 year anniversary here on YouTube by taking a look at my damn game room. So about 2 years ago, Nintendo started something genius and at the same time purely fucking evil. Amiibos. So let's start right there. Starting off, just like every other Amiibo collector, I got a bunch of Mario figurines because it's Nintendo. What do? Mario stuff. Moving on up, we got Bowser Jr. right here, and I like the figurine, but I would love like an alternative. Maybe Roy or Lemmy would be pretty fucking great right there, but Bowser Jr. will have to do. Now, out of the collection that I've amassed so far, I think Villager is the one that I like the least out of them. It just looks plain and simple, and the other amiibos actually have a lot of flair, and they look pretty damn good, so yeah, I don't think there's any excuse for this one. And we got Link right here. Link was actually my first amiibo, and right next to him we got the rest of the Zelda collection. Missing Wolf Link and Ganondorf, but I'll probably pick those up pretty soon. Right there, we got the Fire Emblem ones, and so far I've played a couple of the Fire Emblem games. I freaking love them, and the amiibos are looking pretty damn sweet too. And after that, we got the Splatoon amiibos that I've collected so far, and for being like an offshoot experiment of Nintendo trying to make a shooter, they actually succeeded, and I love Splatoon. It's been an awesome game so far, and I hope they make more. And last out of the bunch is Shovel Knight. If you've seen my playthrough of Shovel Knight, you know how much I freaking love this game and the character Shovel Knight. Out of my amiibo collection, I actually think Shovel Knight is the one I like the most, but then again, that's probably because I love that game. Alright, so right here, we have an RC cart of Donkey Kong. I found that at my old workplace, hiding in the back room somewhere, and I just had to pick it up. If you look in the back right there, we got something called a Calorie Mate, and I never noticed this myself, but if you take a look at the rations in Metal Gear Solid 3, they're actually called Calorie Mates. Right in front of it, we got the hand replica from Metal Gear Solid 5, and right below that, we have the amulet from Witcher 3, which looks pretty fucking amazing. Down here we have a whole army of figurines. Got Ezio Auditore standing in the background looking down on everyone. Jill Valentine's right there. We got a bunch of Mario figurines. And looking over the whole, well, army of Mario figurines is Sephiroth with his big ass sword. Down here we got the Contra figurines that were released a while ago. They look just like the game and I freaking love them. And at the bottom, we got some of my favorite NES accessories, the NES Advantage, the NES Max, and of course the Famicom that I picked up during Retrospelfestivalen earlier this year. Alright, so it's time to take a look at the consoles. Brace yourselves, this might get a little bit crazy. On the first shelf I got my Framemeister, and for those who don't know what this is, it's an upscaler. Basically, it takes the picture from my retro consoles and makes it bigger, so it works with the kinds of TVs we use today. If you've ever tried to plug an NES into your flat screen at home, you'll know what I'm talking about. Everything looks all blurry and ugly, like someone smeared dog poo all over your screen. Now, the reason why the cables go into this little box right here is simple: organizing. All the cables I have that use RGB, I put the cables into this thing. I have to put them somewhere. So basically, to tidy up, I stuck everything in a box. Next up is the Sega Mega Drive with the CD add-on. Since I'm a European, I have the Sega Mega Drive and not the Genesis, so that's how we'll refer to it from now on. But soon that won't matter because I'm getting it modded to play every region, so yeah. Anyways, the Sega Mega Drive is without doubt my favorite Sega console. It hosts a huge library of amazing games, and it's my personal go-to for the beat-em-ups of that era. And the CD add-on, I actually bought this from a friend, and it's in perfect condition. Though my library of Sega CD games is not that big, so I don't get to use it as much as I would like to. And here we got the bottom left shelf. I keep my Xbox 360 here, and it's actually my least favorite consoles amongst my collection. I bought the 360 to play Gears of War back when it was released because I fucking love the Gears of War games. So I played Gears of War 1, Gears 2, Gears 3, and Judgment, and I actually haven't touched the machine since. Okay, so right over here I have my original PlayStation, and this one's actually been with me since '97, and it's been region modded. My dad did a lot of traveling back then, so he used to bring home games, so that in turn meant I got to try a lot of games for this system. Except for the NES, I think the PlayStation is my most played console, and it introduced me to the RPG genre, with games like Final Fantasy VII and Star Ocean 2, for example. And right next to it is my PS2. I currently have the slim version plugged in. I got the fat one in a closet somewhere. My mom actually got me the fat one for Christmas, and my first game for it was the Tekken Tag Tournament. Unfortunately, about a year after its release, I got really into PC gaming, so the PS2 didn't get that much game time back then. I did play the important games though, like Psychonauts and Shadow of the Colossus and some of the JRPGs. I've recently started picking up games for the system, and I've promised myself to give it a fair try. Next in line is the PlayStation 4, and mostly used for Netflix at the moment, since most of my AAA titles are being played at the PC right now. I'm currently waiting for some cool exclusive to drop, but other than that it's mostly collecting dust. A while ago I purchased a new graphics card for my computer, and that basically rendered my PS4 useless. Except for Nintendo, I'd say that's true for all current gen, but that's just my opinion. Anyways, right here at the bottom we got the Sega Dreamcast. Except for the Famicom earlier, this is my most recent find. I don't have many games for it yet, so I haven't played with it that much, but I've heard amazing things, so as soon as I find the games, it will get some much deserved playtime. And sitting right next to it is my Sega Master System, the 8-bit console from Sega. I've actually played a lot of games on this system, and it has some great games. One of the best things about this system is that it has built-in games. There were different versions with different built-in games. As a kid, I had the version with Alex Kidd built in. I purchased the console at a flea market, and a local store was actually selling the games dirt cheap. Unfortunately, I wasn't a collector back then, so trade-ins were common, and that's where most of my games went back then, which is a shame. And finally, we reached the Nintendo consoles. First up is the Super Nintendo, or in this case, a modded Super Famicom. The mod is a standard Super CAC chip, which lets me play games from all regions of the world, and it has a cut-out cartridge slot, so the US games will actually fit the console. The Super Nintendo has a great library of games, and it's actually my favorite console in the 16-bit era. Here we have my RGB modded NES. You've seen this bad boy before, and as you can see, it's actually turned on. I'm currently paused mid-game. Anyways, my dad got the NES before I was born, and as soon as I could hold on to an object for an extended period of time, I was playing and I was hooked. The Nintendo Entertainment System is without a doubt my favorite console, and for me, everything about it is just pure nostalgia. Next up is the Wii U, and it's the Wind Waker edition, which according to me is the best looking edition out of all the Wii U's. It's a great machine with some amazing games. It's just a shame how underappreciated the Wii U actually is. I actually wish Nintendo all of luck on the upcoming Switch. I really hope they get the third-party support they didn't get on the Wii U. Anyways, moving down, we got the classic black N64. The N64 is my go-to console when it comes to 3D platformers and shooters in that console generation. It has a huge library of great games and many not so great. Since this was Nintendo's first 3D capable console, developers were experimenting a lot, and sometimes they were successful in creating amazing games, and sometimes they just pooped all over their keyboards and shipped it as Superman 64. But that's what I love about the N64. It has a vast library of games and they're all unique in their own little way. Last but not least, it's the GameCube. I picked this bad boy up fairly early in its lifespan, so I've tried a lot of games on it. The revival of old franchises like Metroid and newcomers like Pikmin was awesome to experience at that time. So that was part 1 of my damn game room. Next week we'll take a look at my backdrop. I'll see you all there. Peace out.